Madosh Tambwe, wing at the Emirates Lions, and you're watching Emirates Sports TV. Yeah, well, my name is Madosh Tambwe. I'm 21 years of age. I was born in the Congo, and then a week afterwards, my dad had to come back here to South Africa, obviously, to work. So I came back with my father. My brother's already in the country. So, yeah, I grew up in Joburg. I'd like to say I was born and bred in Joburg because literally all I know is Johannesburg. If you ask me where home is, I'll say home is Johannesburg. Growing up, it was, we were very close. I was very close with my mom. Yeah, especially my mom, because my dad was literally hardly stayed at home because he was traveling on the whole time concerning his job. And then, when he lost his job, that's where we kind of drew closer to each other. He didn't have a job for 4 or 5 years, and then my mom had to, she started working for a bit. So all that time, my brother and I, we were we try to stay close as possible. And with all that, my dad, obviously as a father, when you're not working, kind of takes a lot out of you. So my dad used to try to travel a lot to try to find a job in different cities, different places. So he wasn't around as much as we'd want him to be. But every time he was around, we really enjoyed my dad's company. But most of the time, my mom was, the main person in my life at that moment when I was still young. Second grade, I got to second grade. I think that's where the love for athletics started. I started running for my primary school at that time, and then obviously that was around 2005. Yes, yeah, if I'm correct, around 2005. And then I started watching a lot of athletics at that time, the Olympics and stuff. And then I fell in love with the sport. I was like, I actually like this thing, because all you had to do was just wait for instructions and try to get to the end as quick as possible. So I was like, okay, why not? And then I enjoyed it. And I ran throughout my primary school years, up until I think grade 5, until I had to move to a different primary school. And then that's where my love for other sports started. So I started falling in love with soccer. I started playing for Highlands Park Football Club. I played there for a bit. And from that point, that's where most of my friendships started with people. And I started being, more of an, not an introvert, but a people's person now. So started mingling a lot more. Played soccer there for a bit, up until I got to high school. As a mentor, my older brother was my mentor growing up. He'd tell, listen, I think you're good at this, try to do this and see what happens. So I used to listen to my older brother a lot. Hence why we've got such a good relationship now, even though we fight every now and then, because it's a normal thing. But my older brother played a big role in my life growing up in terms of sports-wise. He'd encourage me to do sport, and because I had to obviously wait for him to every after school, because the junior primary came out earlier than the senior primary. So obviously at that time he told me, listen, instead of you just waiting for me and doing nothing, rather go to a training session or something, and then as soon as you're done, we can go home together. When I got to grade 8, obviously high school, there's cultures and stuff that are involved in everything you do. So I got to high school, I was doing athletics, and then the one coach told me hey dude, I see you're training hard, you're a bit quick, don't you want to come train at the rugby field and see if you're good at the sport, or if you're gonna like it? I was a bit doubtful at that time. I was like, nah, because I spoke to my older brother about it. I'm like, listen, this coach wants me to play rugby, and then my older brother's like, no, it's a dangerous sport, you're gonna hurt yourself. I don't want you to get hurt. I still want you around, and I don't want you paralyzed or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. But something just told me the following day, just go and see what it's about. And then I went to the coach. I was like, you know what, I'm interested. So I think I'm gonna come to your next training session. He's like, okay, no problem. I'll see to you that I'll bring you rugby boots and shorts. I was like, sweet. So I went to the training session, and he told me literally, he's like, I'm gonna put you on the wing. I didn't know what the position was. Like, I'm gonna put you at the wing. All you have to do is just catch the ball and try run to the whitewash as quick as possible. So I was like, okay, that's easy, so because you're kind of used to it at the legs. All you have to do is just run until you get to the finish line. So I went to the training session, and yes, the first training session was a bit tough because I never knew you have to evade tackles, and so I got tackled at one time, and I was like, coach, you didn't tell me this was going to happen. But I had fun there, and I went to him. I obviously told my older brother about the training session and how it went, and then he asked me, he's like, do you want to pursue this sport? I was like, I don't know, brother, let me just see what happens. And then I played a bit. I didn't really play under 14s, and then I played under 15 that year because I wanted to focus obviously in athletics more. And then under 15 I played for a bit, and then I played outside centre under 15, played a bit of fly half, and then when I got to under 16 I played for what you call the Lions Invitational side. So that it was all the guys from your small schools get together to form a team to obviously play against macro schools like your K's, your St. John's at Easter festivals. So I managed to play that with one of my mates, Achiever. So I think that's where our friendship started. I got a scholarship offer to go to St. John's in Parktown. And then I was in my head, I made up my mind already because I lived not too far from St. John's. And I told my brother, listen, I got an opportunity to go write an entry exam, and obviously at that time you're backing yourself, say I'm gonna pass this thing. Whatever I do, I need to make sure I need to go to St. John's because when we were still young, most of my friends wanted to go to St. John's because it was nice and big, or a very fancy school. So the day I was supposed to go to an entry exam, I had to go to school and I was held up for detention, so I had to miss it. And then the St. John's deputy principal called me. It's like, excuse me, Mr. Tambwe, you missed your entry exam, and you can't find another date for you to come in and write. So we have to cancel this scholarship offer we're gonna give to you. So I was like, okay, no problem. I remember that whole week I was a bit emotional and I was depressed. And then the following Monday, Parktown called me, and they're like, listen, we just want to find out if you're still interested to come to our school. I sat there, I was like, what's happening? So I obviously went to Parktown, wrote that entry exam, passed it. I remember that the whole trial round was a bit, devastating for me because obviously I come from Parktown boys, and it's not really like your rugby school, like your JP, your K's, your Monument, your Glenwood, or all those schools. So it was a bit tough for me, to be honest, because already the odds was against me from the school I come from. So I just held my head up high, because I come from a very, family that believe our faith is a big thing. So I told myself, what, if it was meant to be, it is gonna be. So I just prayed about it. I was like, listen, I'm gonna go to this trials with an open mindset, and irrespective of what happens. The trials went. I managed to stay in the C team up until the last trial round. Played for the C team actually, and then that was the trials. So the next step was the final teams being announced. So I sat there, I was like, so now I'm already, because we knew where the C team was going to play. We were going to play at Potchefstroom that week, 2 weeks before the Craven. So I was already planning everything. I was like, I'm going to go to Potch, I'm going to play my rugby there. hopefully something happens, hopefully I impress someone. And then the Monday when the results, the team came out, one of my teachers came up to me and was like, listen, I saw you in the Craven Week team. I was like, huh? So yeah, for me, because I played Craven Week, I was in grade 11, because I was 18 in grade 11. So obviously when I was 19 in Matric, so I was like, I'm still in school. I don't know if the Lions are gonna allow me to play under 19 Currie Cups being at school, because obviously the time is different. So that year, my Matric, I didn't know how to do it myself, because I never got an offer from any union saying that, when you leave school, you're interested in you to come play for our union. So no union offered me anything. So I didn't know how to do it myself in terms of my rugby. So in Matric, I started looking at just studying and pursuing my my other goals now, to study one day, get a degree and go work, or whatever the case was. So rugby in Matric wasn't like a thing for me. I only played rugby Matric because I was fortunate enough to play for the first team from the time I got to Parktown. So I was like, it's my last year in school, I might as well enjoy, playing first team. I'm gonna miss the sport. So a couple of months down the line, I get a call from the HR manager at the Lions saying that we want you to just come train with us so that you can obviously just better yourself in terms of rugby knowledge, so that if you go to varsity you can use that on your advantage, as an advantage. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to the under 19. They told me, yeah, you're just gonna train with us for the time being, and then if you like what we see, we might use you, but we're not promising anything. So just a kid from school, I was like, you know what, I'm on holiday, let me just keep an open mind to everything, at least I'm not, just sleeping at home. So, time went by, go to training, and then Coach Joey, our current Lions defense coach, was the head coach at the under 19, and he also coached me at the under 16 Lions Invitational side I played for. And then when he saw me, because he was at the under 20 rugby championship, yeah, when I was still training there, when he came back, he saw me, he's like, are you training? I was like, yeah. Well, they told me just to train. He's like, yeah, just keep an open mind and we'll see what happens. And then I trained, and then because Joey came up to me and he's like, I've liked how you've been training, and I don't care what the guy said, but I want you to play in one of our games. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. And then I remember my first game was against the under 19 Cheetahs. Yes, that game was, for me, that's like a different level of rugby, because I'm used to first team rugby and certain intensity, and you get you under 19, it becomes a different ball game. I was so lucky that game to score. I tried that game as well, and then I was like, yo, first game, score. And then because Joey's like, listen, I spoke to the HR manager and I want to keep you for the remainder of the campaign. I want to use you for the remainder of the campaign. I was like, whoa. I remember this moment will never, surpass myself. I remember the Springbok guys were a number down. So the coach call that kid to come train with us. So I went there, and then he gave me a t-shirt to wear, and he's like, you're going to train with us for the rest of the session. And I sat there and I was like, I've got a Springbok jersey on, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Everything was so overwhelming. And then I trained and everything, and I remember the Springbok guys were like, hey, Superman. I was like, flip. Now I'm training with guys that I watch on TV, and the only thing I was excluded from was the contact sessions, because obviously I wasn't at that level physically to take contact. But the rest of the stuff I was involved in everything they did. So now I trained there, and on the sideline I'm looking at my team. At that time I didn't know they were going to be my teammates at the under 19. I was looking at my teammates, I was like, I'm here. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. I was like, I was like a kid, like, when you tell a kid there's sweets for you, how excited he gets. So I was like filled with so much emotion, and I went back home and told my dad, I was like, yo, Dad, I was training with the Springboks today, and I got good news, good feedback from Alistair Coetzee. He's like, yo, and my dad's like, who's Alistair Coetzee? I'm like, Dad, he's the national team coach. He's the head coach of the Springboks. He's like, huh? Because my dad wasn't like, he never really followed rugby up until not so long ago. And then I had to explain everything to him. He's like, wow, I'm really proud of you. A week before I ended my exams, I got a call from Coach Ackerman. I still remember I wasn't writing that morning, so obviously I slept in, and then I got woken up by a phone call. I was like, who's this person calling me? I don't know this number. And then I spoke to him, and then Coach Aki is like, I spoke to the HR manager, Coach Joey, and everyone. You're going to be joining the Super Rugby preseason. And then I was like, what? Because at first I didn't believe it was Coach Ackerman. I was like, why will Coach Ackerman call me? Like, Exactly, I was like, someone's pulling pranks on me. And then he hung the phone, and I was still like, still overwhelmed by the whole phone call. And then Coach Joey calls me. I was like, why is Coach Joey calling me? And then Coach Joey called me. He's like, I don't know if they called you, but I'm excited that you're going to join the Super Rugby training squad. I was like, huh, Coach, are you serious? And he laughed. He's like, I'm dead serious. So whatever plans you had about after your Matric final, just cancel it. Make sure you get to training. So start working on your fitness already. I was like, damn straight, Coach. So I remember I started like every day I'll come back from school, like I'll run, I'll run around the block, around the neighborhood. And then my Matric exams came to an end, and then I went to the Lions, and the first day there, I remember I was so, at first I felt out of place, because I wasn't used to an environment like that, because not so long ago you're watching these guys play Super Rugby, now you're doing preseason with them. So for me, I was still like, yo, because the one guy, I look up a lot to Cornell. So when I got there, he just came back from an operation, he was recovering from an operation he had on his groin. So obviously, and he didn't make the Springboks end of the year tour. So when I got there, he was coming back, and he started the preseason. And I remember seeing him, I was like, yes, Cornell's actually tall and so big. And then I was like, wow. And then obviously engaged, and I spoke to him, and I was like, dude, I know this might sound weird, but I've really been watching you play rugby for the past 2-3 years at Super Rugby. I inspired to be like you one day. And I was like, and then I think that's where our bond started, because now we're very close and stuff. And I spoke to him. I was like, you know what, just work hard, and you might play Super Rugby. The fact that they called you here, it means they see potential. I was like, you know what, let's go, let's do this. And then preseason came to an end. The following year in Jan, when the team got announced, I was so nervous, Lord, what will I do if my name gets announced in this 40-man Super Rugby squad? And funny enough, and I saw my name, I was like, jeepers. I didn't know how to do it. I was like, what? I was like, I don't care. I don't have to play any games. I'm in the squad, it's fine. I don't care about anything else. I was like, I don't care. I'm in the squad. So, and then I was fortunate enough as well, I was also part of the SN 20 training camps and stuff, and myself and Achieva would go to the training camps everything second, third week. So we went there for the first holding camp. That was around late Feb, early March. So we stayed there for a bit, and then the one morning I woke up, because we used to wake up at 5 o'clock, and we had a stage session at Danny Craven. So I was like, waking up at 5 again. After 5 there, we're dragging our feet at the indoor center. And then Coach Sean Rue, who's still, I think he's still the head coach there, walked up to me and was like, I need to speak to you. So now obviously in my head I'm like, oh, I'm getting cut. It's like, oh. It's like, you know what? Just keep your head up and go with a positive attitude. And it's like, listen, the Lions called me and they want you to go back. They want to use you for the training session. I was like, huh? Why do I want to use it in my... So I went back, I told my friends, like, man, I'm trying to make the national under 20 team and these guys are calling me to come train with them. These people, they're full of jokes. And then the guys are like, hey, it's not just to train. Like, you're going to play Super. I'm like, guys, there's no ways I'm going to play Super Rugby because, you know, at that time, Lino was playing wing or Ruan Janssen van Rensburg or Alton. And I was like, there's already those guys there and then there's Cordnell playing wing. What would I want from a kid at this age? And then I was like, whatever. And then Coach Sean, there was like, you know, there was a huddle before we went to the stage session. I mean, afterwards when he came back, and it's like, I've got good news to share with the team. One of our guys just called up to go back to his union, and he's gonna play in the Super Rugby game this weekend. And then he calls up my name. I was like, Coach, nah man, don't play jokes like this. And then it's like, so I boarded a plane and I came back to Joburg. And now, as soon as I got to Joburg, I had a meeting with Coach Akis. And then he just asked me questions like, you know, what are your aspirations and all that. I'm like, you know, obviously, Coach, obviously training with the guys there, it's been a privilege for me already. It's been a privilege enough already. And just being in the squad for me, you know, it's a big achievement because, you know, I come from a school and a background where, you know, it's rare for a kid that's got dreams to do certain things come true, you know. So it's really open about it. And then we also spoke about non-rugby related stuff, you know. That's when I actually got to know Coach Akis a bit better in terms of a personal level. And it's like, okay, just get ready. Anything can happen for this weekend. I was like, okay. Started training. And then on the Tuesday, I remember in the morning, Cordnell came up to me. It's like, Super Rugby debut. I was like, Coach, don't say that, you know. And then keep it on the dial. And then Elton's like, Cordnell, no, don't say that to him. He's not playing Super Rugby. You must relax. And I was like, yo, guys, harsh. And then on the Thursday, when the team gets announced, before the team was like released, like in the media, in the team meeting we had in the morning, Coach Akis is like, he announced the team and then he got to number 14. He's like, Madosh and Sylvia, you guys, depending on what we decide, we'll see. But both of you just, you know, get ready. I was like, huh? And then Cordnell looked at me at the back and then he's like, he winked, he's like, and then, I mean, like, you know, we're training. The following day, the Friday, we had a captain's run. So I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, yo, Lord. So now, obviously, I'm looking around Ellis Park, and I heard. Obviously, I was curious, but I heard the ticket sales, stadium is, you know, fully, you know, booked. I was like, yo, you know, everything is sold out. I was like, yo. So now, obviously, I'm looking I'm at Ellis Park. I'm training. I'm like, I might play here tomorrow and this place will be packed. I'm like, yo, this is a big thing. And then after the training session, Cordnell came to me and was like, listen, he shook my hand. He's like, congrats, I'm really proud of you for your debut tomorrow. I'm like, huh? And then he laughed, he walked away, and then Coach Akis came to me and then he shook my hand in front of the whole team. He shook my hand. I remember there's a huddle. He shook my hand. He's like, congrats, you're starting tomorrow. I was like, whoa. And then he's like, go to Joe. So Joe is like our logistics manager. So I went to Uncle Joe to get my kit. So I got my kit, and on my way back home I was like, no man, is this really happening? I remember I was so emotional. And then the Saturday of the game, like because we meet up like at a place, so we met up at Lions house. Like I remember that day, like my palms, like my whole body, I was so sweaty, like, because I was like I was overwhelmed, and guys were like, dude, relax, you're not even playing and you're sweating so much. And then, yes, I remember got into the changing room. I was like, wow, this is it. And then they like kick us out, and then Cardinal King's like, hey, let's go catch. You know, we always have to go out with the kicker so we can catch and get ready for the game. I was like, oh, okay. So, because I didn't know, so I went out with him. And then as I went out, he looked at me, he's like, have your moment. So I stood there and I looked around, I was like, yeah, this stadium is actually, because that was, I think the game against the Reds was one of the most, you know, it was the one of the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of. So I got in the field, I remember I shed a tear and I was like, Lord, I just got on my knees, I'm like, Lord, I don't even know what to say. I just want to say thank you for everything. Just thank you for this moment. And I remember shedding a tear and I was like, wow, this is actually happening. And then as I got up, I saw Qued Cooper walking next to me and it's like, hey, good luck. I'm like, huh? This is like, not so long ago in school, I was calling myself, oh, Qued Cooper with a step and, you know, doing everything, wanted to be like this guy, and I'm playing against him. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then after warm-up, we went back into the changing room. Just before I put on my jersey again, like I shed like tears again. And the guys around me, just everyone came, they're like, yeah, let's go. Like, you know, they're like, yeah. Like, you know, cherish this moment. And everybody was just tapping me at the back. And then Elton came to me, he's like, well done, kid. You deserve it. I was like, sure. Because, you know, everybody like looks up to Elton because he's like a big icon in SA rugby. So I was like, what? And like I didn't believe that I was actually playing Super Rugby until I got into the field and there was a countdown before kickoff. I was like, and then I remember the whole game, like, and then all of a sudden I just switched off, like, from all the emotions and everything. And I was focused on the game. I was like, it's time to play, and I play the game. And afterwards, the emotions came back out of nowhere, and I was like, what? And then we had to, like, there was like a big circle thing we do at the Lions at every home game. So now we sign like jerseys and balls for all the Lions fans. I was like, now I'm signing stuff now for people. I'm like, yo, this is big. And then I got home and I kept on playing that game. I kept on watching that game against the Reds, and then I got given also like a debutant jersey that I still have in my house. And every time I feel like my chips are down and when I'm going through a bad time, I just look at that jersey, you know, because that jersey for me is like a symbol. That, you know, if you keep faith and you believe and you work hard, you know, anything is possible, and like anything can be achieved through faith, you know, humbleness, and like, you know, the hunger of just, you know, achieving something. And that's more or less how rugby from under 19 to Super Rugby went for me.